Hi, family. I want to share a quick word of encouragement with you. And this is for all of the singles who are waiting for God to connect them to their spouse. Um, I know it's been a process. I completely understand. I'm right there with you. But I want to encourage you not to stop on your journey. This is not the time to stop on your journey. You have come too far in your commitment with Christ on letting Him lead and guide you in this journey. This is not the time to throw in the towel. This is not the time to give up. You have to keep pushing. I wanted to share this with you though, and I wanted you to think from a perspective of a cake. When you bake a cake, the cake comes with instructions. And, we put all the ingredients in a bowl, prepare the cake and pour it into the pan, and we stick the cake into the oven. Now, when the cake is in the oven baking, we have no idea of what is going on in the inside. If we turn that oven lamp on, we can see what's going on the outside of the cake, but we have no idea of if the cake is cooking inside, what parts of the cake on the inside are done. So, it's like we just have to wait, and we have to go according to the what? Instructions of the recipe. And the thing is, if the recipe tells us to bake for 30 minutes, what do? You bake it for 30 minutes. If it tells you to bake it for 30 minutes, you don't look 20 minutes later and pull the cake out and say, oh, it's done, it's ready. That's not how it works. Because when you prematurely remove the cake, it won't be done. It won't be right. And what will you have to do? Put the cake right back in the oven and let more time pass in order for it to be just right. And that reminds me a lot of this journey that a lot of us are on when it comes to meeting your spouse. In this journey, God is leading us. We're trusting Him. We're being obedient, even when we don't understand why He's telling us to do certain things. It's like, it doesn't make sense, God, but okay. But obedience is important. That's part of the instructions, just like on that cake. In order to get to the end result, you have to follow the instructions. And that's the same way on this journey. You have to follow the instructions. And a lot of us may feel like we're at a place now in this journey where it's like, okay, God, I follow the instructions. I've done everything that you told me to do, but now it kind of seems like there's just silence. It seems like there's nothing going on. I can't see what you're doing. And I want you to go back to that cake in the oven. Remember I said, when that cake is in the oven, you can't see what's going on in the inside of that cake. We don't know what parts are done and what parts are not done. And that's the same way with us. Even when God is silent, He's still working. There's still something that He's working on in order to make it just right. So I want you to remember this analogy with the cake. When you start to get discouraged on this journey and you may feel like, I've waited this long, I don't see anything happening. Maybe if I just take it upon myself and just see what's out there. This is not the time to do that. You've been consistent. You've been persistent. You've committed. So do not stop. And I want you to think about this with that cake. If we pull out a cake from the oven prematurely, what do you get? You get an uncooked raw cake in the middle. And we all know that is absolutely disgusting. No one wants a raw, undone cake. You want the cake to be just right. And it reminds me of in Genesis chapter 2, where God says, it's not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him that's just right for him. Just right. That means it has to go through a specific timing process in order for it to be complete. Because if it's not complete, it won't be right. Allow yourself to go through the process. No shortcuts. No shortcuts at all. And remember too in this process that God is fully aware of everything that's going on. Never think that he doesn't know and that he's not working. Because even though we're not working, maybe it's the time for us just to sit back and be still. Maybe it's time for us to prepare, whether it's maybe working on your health or doing things that you need to do, prepare before, meeting that person. Whatever it is, maybe that you need to kind of touch up on or, whatever it is. This is the time in the silence while you're doing those self-care things. Ladies, whether it's getting your nails done, just setting a consistent schedule for things to better yourself. Going to the gym. Like I said, ladies, getting your nails, your feet done, getting your hair done. Guys, whatever it is you all do, going to the gym, whatever it is, going to get your hair cut on a regular basis. Just things that will, I'm not going to say increase, but I will say things that will beautify in the process. And it's just like with Esther. Esther went through 12 months of a beautification process before she was married to Xerxes. It was 12 long months of beautification. So in the silence, if you're not hearing anything from him, don't just stop and assume, oh, it's not going to happen or God is not working. He's still working. You just can't see it. Just like with that cake. You can't see what he's doing on the inside, but he's still working. So in this time while he's still working, allow yourself to go through that beautification process, just like Esther did. And yes, I'm speaking of Esther, but this goes for both the ladies and the men. This is not just for ladies. Men, you go through your beautification process as well. And remember that God makes all things beautiful in its time. So he knows the right time, the right point where you two need to meet. And I want you to hold on to that as well. How awesome is that? And that should actually give you, some excitement to know that God is on the way. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. That should give you something to look forward to so that when you do meet that person, it's like, wow, God, I waited for this. I waited, and this is what I waited for. God will knock your socks off. He will. So don't stop what you're doing. Continue to stay connected to him in this process. I mean, I want you to grab hold of him and do not let go, because he has something amazing waiting for you. So fam, all my singles, I'm in this with you too. And I understand where you are in this process. You're looking, it's like, okay, here I am, and we're getting ready to enter into another summer and I'm still single. I thought this would have happened by now. But remember, our thoughts are not his thoughts and our plans are not his plans. So remember, he knows when. He makes all things beautiful in its time. So he knows. He hasn't forgotten about your promise. He hasn't forgot about the covenant that he's made with you. So don't give up. Keep pushing towards the goal. I love you all, and you just continue to keep pushing because God has something amazing planned for you. Love you guys.